Okay, today we are gonna do a project review or a project briefing on ONE COCHRANE. ONE COCHRANE is directly opposite to IKEA Cochrane. So let me share my slide. How do we analyze properties in a simple manner? Because we have a full video about how do we analyze property, and then area outlook, then competitor analysis, catalyst. What is catalyst? That means the pooling effect, and also jobs. That means the catalyst can be something that pull crowd in, pull population in, or it can create jobs, or it connects this area to places that have pooling effect and jobs. So number 5 is project analysis. Then project analysis, we will do a highlights. And then rental analysis, our take, that means the pros and cons of the projects. And lastly, we will share you the whole inventory that we have currently. So let's begin with our project briefing, which will be ONE COCHRANE. So ONE COCHRANE, as you can see, is directly opposite IKEA, next to my town. And then in this area, we will also brief you the MRT connectivity. So before we start to go into the project briefing, we will always mention our 7 main criteria or investment strategy that we always rely on. We will show you how do we pick our project first before we even show you the project. So that means the project have to fulfill the criteria first before we share the project to you, so that you will also know whether we are sharing the project to you makes sense or not. Is it logical or not? Is it following our criteria? So if not following to criteria, you can even question us, hey, I thought you have been educating or advocating or emphasizing on this criteria, but this project don't seem to fit into that criteria. So you can actually cross-check with us against all the criteria that we have been sharing all this while. So what are the benefits of investing through PropertyBuddy? The first one is, of course, very low capital to buy, below market values, below market undercon properties. So if you have a lot of money or you have more capital, of course, I recommend you to go for sub-sales or auctions, where today you can find a lot more value purchase or value properties. But of course, that they are all capital intensive. So if you were to wanted to buy something with very low capital, then you can go through us. Then of course, second thing is data driven. We always do project review, analysis, and recommendation based on data. If you see that we are not recommending based on data, it is like bias, then definitely you do not need to go through us. So the third thing is like we present to you the upfront criteria. What are our investment strategies? What are the things that we look at before we go into the projects? All right. And the fourth thing is, of course, long-term support. All this while we have been doing from pre-sales, sales, post-sales. That means the moment you looking for project, we do analysis, briefing, and recommendation, up to loan assistance, buy the project, post-sales as in handover, effects analysis, rent manage. All right. Okay, let's go to the ONE COCHRANE. So area outlook first. What is the big picture about this area, Cochrane area? So by looking at the MRT Line 1, the project is at Cochrane, right? So what do we have? One station down, Sunway Velocity, Sunway Medical Center, Sunway offices. One station up, the next KLCC, 70 acres, office, mall, residential. Then another station, Bukit Bintang, KL Central, Pusat Bandar Damansara, which is also another business district. And subsequently, Bandar Utama. Of course, you may not be working or going to Bandar Utama, but the whole line, what are the highlights of the MRT Line 1? So after Bandar Utama, the next big one will be Kwasa, right? Kwasa Land by EPF. EPF is actually relocating their HQ to Kwasa Land. Then how about MRT Line 2? Because Cochrane is actually connected to Line 1, right? So what is got to do with Line 2? You can see Line 2, the completion is 2021 and 2022 by phases. So 2021 mostly are elevated. Then the entire line will be 2022. So when you go to TRX, one stop away, you transit, you can actually go to KLCC East and KLCC via 2 to 3 station. And then when you go down like 2 station using MRT Line 2, you can reach the future Bandar Malaysia. So Bandar Malaysia has 2 stations. One is the North Station, one is the South Station. So what does it mean? Working population. TRX is equivalent to KL Central today. So imagine the working population in KL Central today. If it's not enough, you have KLCC, existing KLCC. If it's not enough again, you have Bandar Malaysia. Bandar Malaysia is 480 acres. Later we'll do a comparison, then you will know how massive it is, this kind of development. So why MRT lines? Of course, it's working population. A lot of people will still get queue and congested at the MRT station because of jobs, all right? Then comparing MRT Line 1 and Line 2 jobs. MRT Line 1, it has KL Central, Bukit Bintang, Kwasa Land, and TRX. TRX and Kwasa will be the new worker hotspot, which is also we term it as a catalyst. Then MRT Line 2, it has the existing KLCC. TRX is the next financial business district or a financial hub, and then the next probably 10 to 15 years, Bandar Malaysia. So Bandar Malaysia will have MRT 2 station, and probably MRT 3, because it makes sense for MRT 3 to actually connect to there to form a circle. And then, of course, it will also have HSR. So why mega developments? KL Central, 72 acres. Kwasa Land, 2,330 acres, 50 billion gross development value. About 15 years will to materialize. TRX, something similar to the size of KL Central. It has a mall, something like KL Central as well. It will take about 15 years to fully materialize. It has MRT Line 1 and Line 2 connectivity, something like an interchange MRT hub. So TRX is somewhere around KL Central, or is another KL Central, or we said it is a KL Central 2. So it will house about 250 international companies, creating 500,000 jobs and 40,000 knowledge workers, especially for financial services. And of course, lastly would be Bandar Malaysia, which will take the longest time to materialize because it has 486 acres of land. So GDP, 150 billion. So take about 20 years to fully develop. Estimated population, 220,000. And then it has connectivity to MRT Line 2 station, KL HSR, and MRT Line 3, maybe, but it looks like it makes more sense to have the MRT Circle Line there to connect that, because currently it has, first thing, it has no more other space for KL Central to connect MRT Line 3, and it makes a lot of sense to put MRT Line 3 to actually fully complement the whole Klang Valley rail lines. All right. So Kwasa will be the Damansara New Central Business District. Then TRX would be the KL New Central Business District. So Tun Razak Exchange, 1.35 million square feet lettable area, is even bigger than 1U, the New Wing site. New Wing is about 1.1 million square feet, and then New Central is only 650,000 square feet lettable area. So you can compare, if we are saying KL Central is equivalent to TRX today, TRX has a more 2 times bigger than it is. Then of course, it will be the next KLCC and KL Central. 70 acres, 1 stop from ONE COCHRANE, 2 stops to Bandar Malaysia. So you will definitely get spillover effect if for people who cannot afford things like core residence, 1,800 per square feet, and definitely the rental there would not be cheap, right? So this area definitely is all again about more jobs. What you get to buy through us, definitely very low capital to buy below market undercon properties. If you have more money, more capital to spend on, then definitely you can also to choose on sub-sales or auctions that you can get a lot of good deals, fire sales, and so on today. But of course, again, that is very capital intensive. And then the third one will be upfront criteria. We present to you what are the things that we look at first instead of the project. So if the project doesn't make sense, you don't even need to consider buying through us, right? And then the last one would be the long-term support in terms of post-sales networking and the support system from PropertyBuddy. So that's all for the sharing tonight. I hope that you are able to grab something more about the projects and about how do we pick properties, and of course what are the difference that we have between buying through an agency or developer versus us offering a one-stop solution from consulting, analysis, what project to choose based on what criteria to the sales and the post-sales, right? Okay, that's all for tonight. Thank you and see you. Bye-bye.